Thank you for joining us today on Capitol Report. I'm here with State Representative Andrew Falk. Welcome to the show.
Charlie, it's great to be with you, and thank you to all the viewers for tuning in.
As you came into the legislative session this year, you thought you would be working with a $6.2 billion deficit. Yesterday, state budget forecast officials released a $5 billion estimate. How does that change your priorities as you move forward this session?
Well, first and foremost, dealing with a $5 billion shortfall is a monumental challenge, and it's ever so slightly easier to deal with than a $6.2 billion deficit.
Right.
So there will be many challenges that we face. I was happy to see the forecast revision come in my opinion, better than expected. And I do think it shows that some of the work that has been done, both at the federal level and state level, has paid off. We've seen the economy in Minnesota improve. We've seen positive action from some of the things that we put in place, whether it was the bonding bill, some of the job creation efforts from the previous legislative session. So a lot of the work that we did is actually bearing fruits now. So I'm thankful for that, and we still have a lot of work to do.
That sounds good. I know that you had sent a letter to Governor Dayton listing your concerns about the cuts to long-term care, nursing homes. How did he respond to your letter?
Well, one of the things that Governor Dayton had to do was put together a budget, and in that budget he raised revenue and he had cuts, and they were very painful cuts.
Mm-hmm.
One of the areas that I took concern with was in proposed cuts to nursing homes, long-term care facilities for the elderly and the disabled. And so I, and along with the rural members of the House DFL caucus, sent a letter to Governor Dayton asking that if there is additional money or the forecast comes in better than expected, please, as a first priority, reduce some of those proposed cuts to nursing homes and long-term care facilities. Thankfully, Governor Dayton did listen to our concerns, and he has revised his projections in those areas, and so we've seen reductions in the cuts. Now, how that compiles with what the Republican majorities bring forward will be yet to seen, but we are thankful that those cuts have been reduced, at least at this, from this projection.
Do you see yourself supporting an all-cuts budget, or are you looking for a more balanced approach?
I have never supported an all-cuts budget. I do think we need to have balance, because really that's what Minnesotans want. They want a balanced approach between cuts and revenue, and they want us to do a good job of looking at what's going to be the best for the overall health of the state. One of the things our state's economist Tom Stinson has talked about is that if you do all of one thing, you damage the fragile economic recovery more so than doing a balanced approach. Now that could be an all-cuts approach, or it could be an all-revenue approach. And so I've been very consistent in my thoughts about this matter, that really we need to have a balanced approach, and that means strategic cuts, targeted revenue. And one of the things I do appreciate Governor Dayton living up to his campaign pledge to make sure that the wealthiest Minnesotans do pay their fair share of taxes. Right now, on average, working middle-class Minnesotans pay closer to 13% of their income in taxes, while the wealthiest Minnesotans pay about 9%. And so his proposal has got income tax increases that hit the top 5% of wage earners or income earners in the state of Minnesota. What that also means is that 95% of Minnesotans would not see an increase in their taxes under Governor Dayton's proposal. And he's really taken that to heart, that he does not want to see taxes increased on the middle class. And that's not just income taxes, but that's sales taxes or property taxes or fees. And so one of the things Governor Dayton has done a very good job of doing is protecting property taxpayers. Property taxes have gone up by really about $3 billion over the last 8 years. It's been an area that we've seen increases nearly every year because people demand services, and those services have had to been funded through one means or another. And so I'm thankful that Governor Dayton is really proposing to protect property taxpayers, offer some property tax relief, all while making sure that local units of government have the flexibility and the resources available to make sure that those services are provided. When we talk about services, we're not talking about the things that or I would say we're oftentimes talking about things that people take for granted, whether it's the plowing of roads in the wintertime, or the making sure that you have safe drinking water, or that your basic street maintenance is done. It's these basic services that all of us as Minnesotans want and expect, but oftentimes we really take for granted.
Right, and I know that you hear a lot from your constituents. I know that's important to you, so I hope that you are able to contact Representative Falk as the session moves forward, and his contact information is at the bottom of the screen.
As always, if you do have thoughts, concerns, questions, or comments, please contact me. I do appreciate hearing from you.
Thanks for joining us today on Capitol Report. I'm Charlie Vanderarty.